Welcome to Who Lives Around the Corner, a new visual podcast with interviews of neighbors with a variety of unique interests and talents. And now the host of Who Lives Around the Corner, Mr. Dan Regan.
Hi, this is Dan Regan, and we're going to have a podcast today. I attended one of this magnificent wedding, and I thought it would make an interesting podcast for our viewer to see how this wedding was planned and what a typical couple goes through in planning out an extensive wedding. And I hope the viewer will be able to view this podcast and learn from this couple. I'd like to introduce you now to the loveliest couple of Clara and Gabe Regan. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Well, we attended this wedding of yours, and it was just magnificent. And I thought it would be interesting for our podcast viewer to see how this wedding was planned and to take apart the different parts of it so they can learn in case they can enjoy an enjoyable wedding like this. Let's take a step back and say, where did the two of you meet?
Do you want to take it or me?
You can take it.
So we met back in 2020 in New York City on a rooftop at a party that we both attended.
Yes?
Mm-hmm.
And how did you know she was the girl?
I spent the whole night talking to her, and I didn't want to leave her side. And I thought she was beautiful. She was wearing this cool shirt with shells on it, and I thought she was very unique. And I thought, I really want to spend time with her. So I spent the whole night with her, and the rest is history.
Clara, how did you know he was the guy? Did you know right away, or did it take a little while to sink in?
I don't know if there's a specific moment, but I just always felt very comfortable and at home with him, and yeah, it just felt like it was right from the beginning.
Well, that's great. Let's take it the next step about the proposal. Tell us about how you planned the proposal.
So I knew that I wanted to do it around our anniversary, which was
How long did you know her before you proposed?
4 years?
4 years?
Yeah, about 4 years.
That sounds like a sentence.
So I knew that I wanted to do it in Central Park, and I told her that we were going to dinner for our anniversary, and we walked through the park, and I did it on the east side of the park near a pond, and it was beautiful.
Really?
And were the other people present? How tell us a little bit about the whole action.
Our families were hidden in the bushes. The morning of, I planned out a route, and when I came home from work that day, I told her, let's get ready to go to dinner. And we started walking, and the route that I planned was closed. It was locked, so we had to plan a different route. And as I'm going down the road with her, hand in hand, a little nervous, we walked and we got to the pond, and there was a couple that were taking pictures in our spot. And I had to make a quick decision. Do I keep going, or do I go ahead and propose? So we got to the spot, and they eventually left, and I did my proposal. And the families popped out of the bushes, and the photographer was there, and it was all very positive.
Were you surprised?
I was very surprised, yes.
But you captured the love of your life.
Yep, I certainly did.
Let's take a step forward into this beautiful, magnificent wedding. How did you begin to plan it out? What was the first step? Finding a place?
Yeah, I think the first step was figuring out about how many guests we would have, and then picking a venue.
Picking a venue. How do you pick a venue?
I don't think we had many different options. I think we kind of just knew that there was this one venue that had everything we needed, and they had our date available. They had a date available.
Today they have venues all over the world. They get married in Peru and Afghanistan and all over.
We were debating whether to do it in Afghanistan, but we ended up in Westchester. Nice and local, easy for the guests to get.
So you chose a venue in Westchester, And what was the next step in besides you had the venue, and what was the next step that you had a plan?
I think the next step was probably booking all of our big vendors, like the florist and the photographer and the band.
Tell us about how you pick a band, for instance.
So my parents had seen the band that we ended up with at another wedding, and they
What was the name of the band?
Hudson Horns.
Hudson Horns.
Yep, they were a very good horns band that has a little bit of everything that you want to hear. And my parents suggested them, and we took a listen, and they sounded perfect. So that's who we ended up going with.
Okay, so we got a venue and we have the band. What come next? How about the gown?
The gown. So how it typically works is you go to a bridal salon and you pick a gown. And I went with my sister and my mom.
How many bridal salons did you go to?
I don't know. Definitely a few. Probably more than most people because I'm pretty indecisive. But some
It
people.
was a beautiful gown.
Thank
Certainly
you.
was.
Some people pick on their first go, but I really waited to find a dress that I loved.
Okay, you found the dress. Did you make the decision right away, or did you call in your advisory committee?
So I thought I knew I wanted the dress, but there was one more appointment to go to, so I made another appointment to go back, and I brought my mom and my sister and Gabe's mom and Gabe's sister, and we were all able to say yes to the dress.
They voted yes to the dress.
Yes,
Yeah.
the draft.
You're like the TV program.
Just like the TV program.
Yes. Okay, what about the flowers? How did you pick the flowers and the color combinations? Tell us a little bit about that.
The florist came highly recommended to my parents from friends of theirs, who we trust because they're in the industry. So from there, we met with the florist and showed him some inspiration photos. But I've seen his work. I know he does such beautiful work that I kind of trusted his vision as the designer and the artist based on, the colors and pictures of other weddings.
It was magnificent. The flowers were all over. What type of flowers did you have?
So I don't know all the types of flowers, but I told them some of the flowers I loved. So my bouquet, for example, was all white peonies and white ranunculuses because those are two of my favorite flowers. But it was all sorts of different flowers like hydrangeas and roses and
Beautiful.
all sorts of different things.
Who picked the food?
So we went to the venue, and for the reception food, we had a tasting with the appetizers and the main dishes and the desserts. So we knew what we did for the reception, but for the past apps during the cocktail hour and the stations, we kind of just chose what sounded good to us. They gave us a few recommendations, and we
The
chose.
food was delicious.
Yeah, it was very good.
All right, let's take a step back before we go into the wedding. Tell us about the night before. You had a party.
We had a welcome party for all the guests that are out of town and all of the friends and family. And we had a beautiful location in Irvington at Red Hat, right on the water. And it was a very nice night with a beautiful sunset, and everyone had a good time.
It sounds great. All right, let's take the day of the wedding. What time did you arrive?
I arrived around 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Yeah, to start getting my hair and makeup done and get ready with my friends. And they serve breakfast at the venue, and it's a whole morning to start getting excited and get ready before our first look.
hmm
Okay, and what time did you arrive
I
there,
arrived
groom?
around 12:30. I hung out with my friends, my family, my father, my brother, her father. We had some lunch, hung out for a little bit, and then I think I went to get ready to get dressed in my tuxedo. And then we had our first look, which is when we were outside, or I was outside waiting to see her for the first time in her beautiful gown. And she snuck up behind me and tapped me on the shoulder, and I saw this angel sitting there, or standing next to me.
See that?
She looked gorgeous. It was absolutely stunning. And
Sounds like you're in love.
I think I am. And we had a beautiful day. It was perfect weather. So
Okay, let's take the day of the wedding. How did the ceremony start? Can you describe it, Clara? Who marched down the aisle in what order?
So Gabe walked down the aisle first with his
Mom.
parents,
Yep.
and then followed by our siblings. And then it was my turn to walk down the aisle.
Mm-hmm.
And I received her. Her parents walked her down the aisle. She stopped about halfway, and then I went to go receive her. And I gave her a big kiss, and then we moved.
Which maybe we weren't supposed to do, but oh well.
Oh well. But then we moved to the where we go to stand, and the ceremony took place.
And did you express vows to her?
So we did the vows privately.
Oh, tell us about it.
It was very nice. We did the first look where she tapped me on the shoulder and I saw her, and then the week of we wrote our vows in a vow book, and we each had our own separate vow book, and we took turns exchanging vows outside overlooking the beautiful venue, and it was a very nice private intimate moment between the two of us.
I understand you had a ceremony with what do they call it?
The ketubah.
Ketubah. Tell us about it.
So the ketubah is a Jewish marriage contract that you sign before getting married. So we sign it, and we have two close people to us also sign it as witnesses.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm. And we also did along with the ketubah, marriage license, which is official for the government to recognize us.
How much does it cost for a marriage license today?
Was it $6?
No, maybe like 30. I can't
Went from
remember.
$2 up. It's inflation.
Sure. I don't remember.
Okay, let's take it. At the end of the ceremony, there's the crushing of the glass. What's the significance of that to culminate the end of the ceremony?
It's a remembrance of the destruction of the Second Temple in Jerusalem, just as recognizing our ancestors and our past as Jews. Yeah, and
Okay.
taking that moment.
We then go to the entrance of the bride and groom for the first dance. What song did you?
So I think we came out for cocktail hour for a little bit, said hi to a few people, and then the band, which was the horn band, did a little parade into the tent where the reception was happening, and I think we danced for a little bit, and then we did our first dance.
What was the song that you danced to?
It was called All Yourn by Tyler Childers.
Ah, you're a big concert guy.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We're big
And
fans.
then the wedding went on and on and on, but it never ended. I understand there was a restriction of what hour you had to end it, and where did it continue?
Right. So the wedding ended at midnight, which there was a noise ordinance at the venue. We couldn't go past midnight, and they said you could either continue here and do a silent disco, where you put headphones on and everyone listens to music but
That's
silently, or what we chose to do is because we wanted to be more social, we took it to a different bar, another local bar, and had another after party.
What time did you end up there?
We went straight from the venue to the after party, and we probably ended the after party around 2:30.
I understand the venue called the next day. There were 3 guys sitting under the table drunk.
Yeah, I think we had a good time.
Sounds
fun,
like
very
a blast.
Very
Well,
fun.
I called the next day to congratulate you. Waited till it was time for you guys to wake up, and you were in Portugal.
Yeah, I think you might have called a few days later, but the next day we gathered our things and we got on a flight to Portugal to go decompress and really take in everything that had just happened and enjoy our new marriage together. And we were just laying on the beach and hanging out in Portugal.
And then you had a busy wedding coming up in Boston.
Yeah, so we flew directly from Portugal to Boston, and we had a wedding in Rhode Island the next weekend, which is why what we did was a mini moon, and we went to Portugal for a few days. So
The wedding seems like it's perfect for that, but there must be something that you could whisper into our viewers of something that you would do different or do over again.
So one thing that happened, and it was very last minute, and it was tough we had to move on the fly, was we had the after party planned at this bar, and they told us about a few weeks before, maybe a week or two, that they couldn't have us anymore. So a week or
Really?
two before, we had to scramble to find a new after party location, and it was very stressful. But we had looked at another venue at the same time we found that one, and it ended up working out that this other venue, could take us that same night, and it really worked out because I think it was a bigger location, it could fit more people, it was more spacious, and everyone enjoyed and had a great time.
What's the name of the venue you ended up in?
It's called the Sail House in Tarrytown.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
Yes.
What are you going to do for the real honeymoon?
We're going to go to Japan in February.
Wow.
Yes.
And you're going to ski in Japan and
We're gonna
She's a
We're gonna
professional
eat.
skier. So.
We're gonna ski and we're gonna eat and appreciate all the Japanese culture.
Well,
Yeah.
what I say to the two of you, you should enjoy the same love and affection that Grammy and I have had for 72 years. And I want to thank you for doing this podcast. And I'm sure by looking in both of your eyes, you're going to have a long and lasting marriage. Thank you for doing
Thank
the
you.
podcast.
Of course.
We
Thank
love
you
you.
for having us. We love you very much.
If you have or know of a neighbor with a unique interest or talent, please get in touch with us with their contact information and please include their unique interest or talent. Email us at wholivesaroundthecorner@gmail.com. Goodbye for now. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Who Lives Around the Corner, a new visual podcast of neighbors with a variety of unique interests and talents, with host Dan Regan. Brought to you by Rockland World Radio and Modern Metro Studios.